on the brink of death, with all hope lost until their saving grace appears. Here we present to you 8 amazing stories of animals saving humans from certain death. What these creatures are capable of is unreal. Number 8. The Dolphin Pod. Dolphins, some of the most altruistic creatures on this planet. When they see an animal or human in distress, they react the same way they would if one of their own was in danger. They work together to protect them and get them to safety. One such instance occurred in 2013 in Carrickalinga, Australia. Lynn Gitsham was walking her dogs on the beach when Ramsay, her Cocker Spaniel, began chasing a flock of seagulls into the ocean. The tide was strong and pulled Ramsay away from the beach. He struggled against the current to swim back, but the pooch was no match for the strength of Mother Nature. All Gitsham could do was walk along the rocky shoreline and call helplessly for him until she slipped on the wet rocks and fell into the water. She fought with all her strength to swim back to shore, but the current would not let her go. Her situation escalated from bad to worse when she spotted fins swimming around her. She waited for sharp teeth to clamp down and pull her to her death, but instead of feeling razor-sharp teeth from a shark, she felt the slippery nose of a dolphin, a whole pod in fact. The dolphins grouped together and escorted Gitsham and her dog back to shore before swimming back out to sea. Number 7. Mandy and Mandy. Our next heroic feat was actually a team effort. A man who was saved by not just one, but 2 of his own animals, his dog Mandy and his goat, also named Mandy. 78-year-old Australian farmer Noel Osborne slipped in cow manure on his farm and broke his hip. He laid there unable to move for 5 days in the blistering hot sun, cold bitter nights, and even during a thunderstorm. The only reason he survived is thanks to his dog Mandy, who slept with him at night to keep him warm, and his goat Mandy, who provided him with her milk to keep him hydrated. 5 days later, some friends stopped by and finally found Noel. They called an ambulance and he was rushed to the hospital, where he made a full recovery. Noel swears that the goat's milk and the dog's warmth is the reason he's still alive. Number 6. Peanut the Mutt. They say dogs are men's best friend, but when it comes down to it, do they really care? You be the judge. In 2016, a 1-year-old mutt named Peanut was found in Escanaba, Michigan, neglected with 2 broken legs. After a few months of recuperation, she was adopted by a couple. What the family didn't know was that Peanut would become a local hero. One cold morning, Peanut was running up and down the stairs of her new home, barking wildly. The wife thought she had gone crazy and ignored her. Peanut then proceeded to the husband, who was working in the garage. The husband followed her through a field behind their house, where Peanut pointed out a 3-year-old girl laying in the grass, naked and shivering. The husband called for an ambulance, and the girl was rushed to a hospital. But who was she, and where did she come from? As it turns out, she did not live far from where Peanut found her. The police went to the house and found it in disrepair. While searching the premises, they made a shocking discovery. There was yet another girl living in the squalor conditions. Both girls were taken and placed in child protective services. It is unknown who the parents were or what consequences they had faced. Number 5. A cat in a coal mine. It's a known fact that animals can sense subtle changes in their surroundings long before humans can, but whether they choose to warn us about it is another matter. In the early hours of February 4th, 2017, Annette Shanahan woke up feeling ill and lightheaded. She got out of bed and only made it a few feet before collapsing into a chair. Unbeknownst to Annette, she was suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning. Her husband Kevin would have continued to sleep, and likely both would have succumbed if it were not for the family cat, Gracie. Kevin was woken by a furious pounding on the bedroom door. He got out of bed, ready to yell at the cat, when he saw Annette in the chair. He realized something was wrong and called 911. After investigating the house, firefighters discovered lethal levels of carbon monoxide. Like a canary in a coal mine, carbon monoxide affects cats much faster than humans. When Gracie sensed something was wrong, she alerted her owners, or perhaps was looking for a source of fresh air. Either way, if it weren't for Gracie, Annette and Kevin would surely have suffered in their sleep. Number 4. Willie the Parrot. 2006, Denver, Colorado. Megan and Samantha were both college students sharing an apartment. Samantha had a 2-year-old daughter who Megan would watch when Samantha had classes, and Megan had a pet parrot named Willie. One day, while Samantha was at class, Megan placed the baby in front of the TV while she went to the kitchen to make a Pop-Tart. When the pastry was finished, she placed it on the table and quickly slipped away to the bathroom, thinking that the TV would hold the child's attention until she got back. But while she was gone, she heard Willie squawking, "Mama, baby, mama, baby." Megan came running out of the bathroom to discover that the child's face and lips had turned blue. The child was choking on the Pop-Tart. Thinking on her feet, Megan grabbed the child and performed the Heimlich maneuver until she spit up the Pop-Tart. The strangest part is that while Willie knew the word mama, she had never combined it with the word baby. This leads some to believe that parrots aren't just mindlessly repeating words they hear after all, and that when faced with an emergency, they know how to string words together to form a coherent message. Number 3. The Thanksgiving Day Fire. 4:47 a.m. Thanksgiving Day, the San Mateo Fire Department receives a call regarding a garage fire. By the time firefighters arrived, the fire had engulfed the garage and spread to the neighbor's house. The couple and neighbor had all made it outside and were safe, but the couple, whose house was ablaze, told firefighters there was one more member of the family still trapped inside the inferno, the family cat. Firefighters knew that the chances of the cat's survival were slim. They entered the house to put out the fire and, to their amazement, found the cat singed but still alive. The owner's boyfriend explained to authorities that the cat had woken him up by meowing incessantly. He thought someone was trying to break into their home, but when he realized what was happening, he and his girlfriend escaped. The cat, who was credited with saving 3 human lives, was taken to an emergency veterinarian clinic where it is believed to have made a full recovery. Number 2. LULU the Pot-Bellied Pig. No list of amazing animal saves is complete without the infamous story of Lulu the pot-bellied pig. In 1998, Lulu's owner Joanne collapsed on the floor of her home and screamed for help, but no one could hear her cries. That is, except for Lulu. Lulu realized something was wrong and forced her way out of the fenced-in yard. In her attempt to get out, she was wounded and began bleeding. She wandered into the nearby road and lay down, playing dead until a car stopped. The driver got out to see what was wrong when Lulu got up and led him back to the house. The driver found Joanne on the floor and called 911. Doctors say that if the driver had shown up 15 minutes later, Joanne would have died. Lulu received the Tiffany Gold Heroes Medal from the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals and made appearances on Oprah and The Late Show with David Letterman. Number 1. Pig organs. Although this is technically a future animal save, it still deserves the number 1 spot, and you will soon understand why. Every month, more than 2,000 new names are added to the national waiting list for organ transplants, which has over 120,000 patients, according to the Department of Health and Human Services. The average waiting period is 7 years for a new kidney, but most patients will die before they can receive one. The biggest problem facing people waiting for organs is the lack of donors. About 22 people die every day while waiting for an organ transplant in the United States, which has led to a burgeoning black market in Europe and Asia. Smithfield Foods believes that there will be more than enough organs for everyone someday. But where will all these organs come from? Pigs. Pig and human organs are very similar and could potentially be used to transplant into human hosts. Pig to human transplants are still a long ways away, but recent advances advances are making what was once thought to be impossible into a reality. The biggest obstacle facing pig-to-human transplants is organ rejection due to viruses or genetic differences. George Church, founder of EGENESTS Bio and a professor at Harvard Medical School, thinks he has solved that problem. With a groundbreaking technique known as gene editing, he can trim away the genetic materials of pig organ viruses. Potentially a dozen different organs could be harvested from one pig. The effects would be astronomical. All demand for organs would come to a complete halt, thus completely obliterating the black market and the exploitation of poor people in third world countries. The first clinical trials of pig-to-human transplants may occur as early as 2017.
He was sent flying into the air and was then struck by an incoming vehicle. Corrales was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance but was pronounced dead on arrival on the same day of the legendary bout that he won 2 years earlier.